There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Maine. There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Nebraska and Wyoming. There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Virginia. There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for South Carolina. There are 3 new warnings affecting Alabama and Connecticut and Massachusetts. Attention! One of your tracked locations appears to be affected by these new warnings. New severe thunderstorm warning issued for Alabama. This warning is potentially affecting the following tracked locations. Huntsville, which is near the warned area. Here is the summary of this warning. At 4:04 p.m. CDT, a severe thunderstorm was located over section, or near Scottsboro, moving east at 25 miles per hour. End of warning summary. There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Georgia. There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Virginia. There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Virginia. There are 3 new warnings affecting Colorado and Virginia. there is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Virginia. There are two new warnings affecting Georgia and North Carolina. There are three new warnings affecting Louisiana. There is one new special marine warning. There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Massachusetts. There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Georgia and South Carolina. There is one new tornado warning for Pennsylvania. Attention! One of your tracked locations appears to be affected by these new warnings. New tornado warning issued for Pennsylvania. This warning is potentially affecting the following tracked locations. Schuylkill, which is near the warned area. Here is the summary of this warning. At 5:27 p.m. EDT, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Sugar Notch, or near Wilkes-Barre, moving east at 40 miles per hour. End of warning summary.
Service issue and to reach out to the Secret Service. But I can tell you this, they have a lot of questions as to who exactly at the Trump campaign knew and when, because I have talked to a number of people who have been on the ground with the former president in recent days and weeks. Who had no idea. Now,
There are 2 new warnings affecting District of Columbia and Maine and Maryland and Virginia. There is 1 new severe thunderstorm warning for Colorado. There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Texas. There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Pennsylvania. Attention! One of your tracked locations appears to be affected by these new warnings. New severe thunderstorm warning issued for Pennsylvania. This warning is potentially affecting the following tracked locations. Schuylkill, which is near the warned area. Here is the summary of this warning. At 5:41 p.m. EDT, a severe thunderstorm was located near Wilkes-Barre, moving east at 45 miles per hour. End of warning summary. There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Virginia. There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Virginia. There are 3 new warnings affecting New Mexico and South Carolina and Texas. There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Colorado. There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Virginia. There is one new special marine warning. There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Pennsylvania. Attention! One of your tracked locations appears to be affected by these new warnings. New severe thunderstorm warning issued for Pennsylvania. This warning is potentially affecting the following tracked locations. Schuylkill, which is near the warned area. Here is the summary of this warning. At 5:51 p.m. EDT, a severe thunderstorm was located over Bear Creek Village, or 9 miles southeast of Wilkes-Barre, moving east at 35 miles per hour. End of warning summary. There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Virginia. There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Montana.
I want to really
There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Maryland. There is one new special marine warning. Attention! One of your tracked locations appears to be affected by these new warnings. New special marine warning. This warning is potentially affecting the following tracked locations. Daytona Beach, which is inside of the polygon for this warning. Here is the summary of this warning. At 5:58 p.m. EDT, strong thunderstorms were located along a line extending from 10 nanometers southwest of Ormond Beach to 6 nanometers southwest of Daytona Beach to 8 nanometers west of New Smyrna Beach, moving northeast at 5 knots. End of warning summary.
want to really see something that said, take a look.
there is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Nebraska.
There's so much trans hate in the fucking world. Sorry. There's so much
There
trans
is one
hate
new
in the
special
world right
marine
now, and
warning.
I'm so done with it, and pride just means that we are unabashedly happy just to be alive.
Yeah. And where do you personally feel that hate is coming from?
Most places, but especially the government.
And in your own life, where would you say that you feel the hate the most?
I feel like I kind of internalize a lot of the hate, so it feels like it mostly comes from myself at this point, because
And common sense are in. Yes, there have been corrupt empires. Yes, they manipulate. Yes, there are secret societies. Yes, there have been oligarchies throughout history. And yes, today in 2002, there is a tyrannical organization calling itself the New World Order, pushing for worldwide government, a cashless society, open borders, total and complete tyranny, where human beings are absolutely worthless. There's 6.25+ billion of us, and The globalists have said it many times. There's too many of us. We're causing a problem. We need to be culled at the tune of 80%. It's amazing to talk about that, but it's the globalists, the UN, their own public statements, and they've convinced a lot of liberals and elitist conservatives and others that by going along with this, that we're intelligent members of society. It's the ultimate Malthus world view. It is this radical, virulent form of social Darwinism. It's the excuse of tyrants. And by creating open borders where there's no national sovereignty and only global bodies that control all the resources, by centralizing and socializing health care, the state becomes God, basically, when it comes to your health. And then by releasing diseases and viruses and plagues upon us, we then basically get shoved into their system.
That's Alex Jones 22 years ago, my friends. And it's going to get even more bizarre because
agenda afoot to force the population to undergo different type of medical treatments, namely vaccines. We're seeing a medical tyranny being set up, not just in the United States, but worldwide under the UN and the World Health Organization.
Who's behind all this?
The Bilderberg Group. They want a planetary dictatorship so they can carry out their forced depopulation agenda, and they want to do it through the medical system. And that's why vaccines are so important. We know that many of these vaccines turn out to...
There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Pennsylvania. Attention! One of your tracked locations appears to be affected by these new warnings. New severe thunderstorm warning issued for Pennsylvania. This warning is potentially affecting the following tracked locations. Schuylkill, which is near the warned area. Here is the summary of this warning. At 6:09 p.m. EDT, a severe thunderstorm was located over Snyders, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. End of warning summary.
Force the population to undergo different type of medical treatments, namely vaccines. We're seeing a medical tyranny being set up, not just in the United States, but worldwide under the UN and the World Health Organization.
Who's behind all this?
The Bilderberg Group. They want a planetary dictatorship so they can carry out their forced depopulation agenda, and they want to do it through the medical system. And that's why vaccines are so important. We know that many of these vaccines turn out to have serious adverse reactions, that this is being done by design. They kill you slowly over time.
Here with you, but we're definitely living in the most dangerous times in American history.
we actually are living in the most dangerous times, and I'm so excited to have you because, you're one of those voices. I read a comment and it never left me. I thought it was hilarious. They said, Alex Jones sounds like he's peddling conspiracy theories, but he's telling you the truth. And Rachel Maddow sounds like she's telling you the truth, and she's actually peddling conspiracy theories. Like they're the same person reversed, and that never left me. And so I just showed my audience some clips of you and the things that you have predicted over the years that have actually been proven to be true, but at the time they sounded crazy. And so now I wanted to bring you on the show because I want to know what your take is on the Trump assassination attempt, because no matter how crazy it sounds, I think you have been the person that has been accurately predicting that all of this was going to happen. So, Alex, first and foremost, where were you when Donald J. Trump was shot at and fortunately survived? And what is your take on that situation?
I was landing in Santa Rosa.
To bring you on the show because I want to know what your take is on the Trump assassination attempt, because no matter how crazy it sounds, I think you have been the person that has been accurately predicting that all of this was going to happen. So, Alex, first and foremost, where were you when Donald J. Trump was shot at and fortunately survived? And what is your take on that situation?
I was landing in Santa Rosa. We had internet on the plane, but I hadn't been. I was taking like an hour break from Twitter and the news, just playing a board game with my 7-year-old daughter. And then my producer that came with me, Rob Dew, said, Trump's been shot. Looks like he survived. They just took him off the stage. I, quite frankly, had tears started coming out of my eyes. My wife started crying. I couldn't help it. Just the magnitude of knowing what this meant, that the deep state had actually tried to conduct a coup. And I was so emotional that hoping he had survived. So immediately found out that he had lived, that it had grazed his ear. I was just absolutely so much knowledge was rushing through my mind, and the different scenarios that would come out of this, and how the deep state is going to absolutely, have to kill him now. And then just immediately, we got to the Airbnb, set up our computers, and looked at the evidence of that big metal roof where the police had their command center. That was a perfect place to station their people. And it was 450 feet because they already had maps up and models online on X. And it was just 100% clear that there had been a Secret Service stand down by Mayorkas and that agency that he controls, just like there's been a stand down at the border, and then a facilitation of the human smuggling. And then I immediately saw the news for the next 8 hours, Forbes, CNN, others saying, oh, Trump fell down. There were some noises. And them trying to play down that it was an assassination attempt until that blew up in their face. And so they had all the pieces and elements there. And then I instantly remembered the Lincoln Project repeatedly saying we need to put a bullet in Trump this year and last year. Those videos are all up on my Real Alex Jones X account. Then I remembered Mudd, the former subdirector of the CIA in clandestine assassination operations, saying the government's going to kill this guy. The CIA is going to kill this guy. And so I saw the pre-programming and everything they'd done. And then, of course, it's the perfect lone gunman who we now know is on the building 26 minutes. We saw the videos that day of 2 or 3 minutes of people saying there's a guy with a gun on the roof, and the police running away, and police on their radios, and the counter sniper team on the other sloped roof over by Trump on their radios, clearly saying we've got the shot. And they're like this because they're being told don't take the shot. And then after they fire at least 5 bullets at Trump, one literally pierces his ear, just a few degrees off, it would have gone through and hit him in the back of the brain, or it would have shattered in his temple and turned him into a vegetable or killed him. So we're talking less than a half-inch here, and just the magnitude of all of that evidence coming together, and then their spin machine saying that it was no big deal, and then to learn it was 26 minutes. The Secret Service admits that, and the director of the Secret Service, she just says, hey, we thought slant roofs are a safety issue. The agents could fall off. Well, everybody's seen movies about the Secret Service, but I know the Secret Service. I've followed their protocols. It's well known. You've had congressmen like Mills that have been sniper commanders and run thousands of operations for diplomatic groups and for presidents abroad, saying on CNN.
There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for South Carolina.
This is an inside group that did this, and the man had help. He said, this is impossible. And then CNN goes, how dare you say it's Joe Biden? He said, I didn't say it's Joe Biden, but this was an organized group. Well, who is in control of the Secret Service? Who's in control of the advance team? Who was in control to try to carry out the administrative murder of President Trump? I mean, if you leave your baby in a baby chair by the oven or by the stovetop and put a big thing of grease on there and turn it on high and then drive and leave your house, you administratively know that's going to cause a huge fire.
There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Virginia.
Baby. And the police would charge you with premeditated murder 1. So it's the same thing. Putting the baby in the baby chair, setting it over by the stove, putting the grease on, turning on high, and then going out for packed cigarettes. And that's what they did here, ladies and gentlemen. They administratively set this up bare minimum, and now we know they were helping the shooter, and they brought him in, and they let him sit up there when he had a rangefinder aiming it at Trump, and he obviously got cold feet, so he's wandering around up there, literally 450 feet, perfect spot to put him. Very professional where they sent him. All of it was advised.
There are 2 new warnings affecting Pennsylvania. Attention. 2 of your tracked locations appear to be affected by these new warnings. New severe thunderstorm warning issued for Pennsylvania. This warning is potentially affecting the following tracked locations. Schuylkill, which is near the warned area. Here is the summary of this warning. At 6:18 p.m. EDT, a severe thunderstorm was located over Snyders, or near Tamaqua, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. End of warning summary. New severe thunderstorm warning issued for Pennsylvania. This warning is potentially affecting the following tracked locations. Schuylkill, which is near the warned area. Lancaster, which is near the warned area. Here is the summary of this warning. At 6:18 p.m. EDT, a severe thunderstorm was located over Maytown, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. End of warning summary. There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Pennsylvania.
Trump is moving around so much, by the grace of God, they miss him. And I've been hunting many times and shot elk at 800 yards and things, and deer at 200, 300 yards, wild hogs. I've always been a big hunter, and I'm an excellent shot. I mean, I've shot things at 1,200 yards, but wind, all sorts of things come into it. And if you're there, and even if you're a great shot and somebody's moving, I can't tell you how many times I've pulled the trigger on a whitetail deer at 300 yards, but it just last moment jumps or moves or lowers its head, and you miss. And so that's what happened by the grace of God here. The fact that 5 bullets missed him are incredible. You then have, of course, the firefighter shielding his wife and daughter. He died, and another woman was shot. And notice, you see no media coverage about them except in local news, nobody trying to interview them. So the corporate media can put out the lie that this didn't happen and this was a hoax, you see. And it's okay to question.
Actually, you're absolutely right. And one of the things that I showed on this show was how ridiculous it was, because we are now at the point in American society where they're telling people not to believe their own eyes. And when Biden gave his, I'm not even going to call it a speech, his comment, the 2-minute comment that he gave that night, he said, we don't know if it was an assassination attempt. What do you mean we don't know if it's an assassination attempt? What the hell else would it be? We just watched on live television former President of the United States getting shot at. I do want to slow this down because you're speaking about the deep state, and my audience is, I think, now up to date on what it is you're speaking about, because when I first got into politics and you were speaking about deep state, I really didn't know what you were talking about. And much has changed. Now I've studied the CIA, I've looked at the declassified documents, I've brought to my audience, speaking to them about Operation Mockingbird, which is what we saw that night. And I've spoken to them about MK Ultra, and in particular, there is a book that I have been telling every person they must read. It's basically required summer reading to watch this podcast, which is called Chaos. And it's about MK Ultra, the 60s, and it brings in JFK and him getting shot, and you realize that they have psychological programs. This is not a conspiracy theory, that the government was obsessed with creating Manchurian candidates and trying to psychologically via drugs, convince people to kill people, insert false memories inside of people. They MK Ultra Jacob Rubenstein, the guy who allegedly shot JFK, which I actually don't believe that Lee Harvey Oswald shot him. But parking lot. So could you spell out who and what the deep state is?
Well, there's always been secret societies and cliques and organizations and governments going back thousands of years, different power groups. But the classic American deep state, or what you call in Europe the NATO, Interpol deep state, is the permanent bureaucracy that doesn't ever go away and then hands down power to the next generation and then consolidates control. So a lot of people call it the permanent state, but this has been for 50, 60 years in mainline PhD, best-selling books and things. And there's been congressional hearings and the Senator Frank Church committee hearings in the 70s. And so when you bring up something like MK Ultra, that is the more exotic, flashy edge of this. And
there is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Massachusetts.
Whether it's sex operations, that's the most common, or whether it is assassinations. But
so I do want to slow this down. So Jolly West, that is correct. Jolly West was a doctor who was working at the behest of the CIA, and this is what you will find in that book, Chaos. These are declassified documents. What Alex Jones is saying to you right now is not a conspiracy theory. They were also experimenting on American troops and trying to...
You know who Tim McVeigh's doctor was? From the time he was arrested in Oklahoma until the day he was executed, he would visit him monthly. His doctor was Jolly and West. Now,
yes, you're talking about the Unabomber.
And the Unabomber also, Theodore Kaczynski also was in MK Ultra, LA Times, Associated Press. That's another subsection. No, I'm saying Timothy McVeigh's doctor was Jolly and West.
Wow. So yeah, it's very important for my listeners right now because I want to make sure that we're not speaking over them because I've done the due diligence and some people haven't. And when you read that book, Chaos, you will realize Jolly West is plausibly one of the most evil people that's ever existed. And when I was on a few weeks ago and the media took me out of context and I was saying that we learn in school that the experiments the Nazi scientists did were so bad, we brought them over here and we have conducted way worse experiments. And Jolly West is a doctor who has conducted experiments. Basically, what they're describing to you as lone shooters and lone crazy people are not lone crazy people. There are people that have been intentionally experimented on, sent out into the public to commit heinous crimes while the CIA watched and allowed these crimes to take place. Charles Manson was, in fact, a federal asset, and they were experimenting with LSD, trying to get people to commit murders, and they were successful. So these experiments were successful. So when you hear, Alex, I want to ask you that it's a lone shooter, what is the first thing that you think?
Well, you're totally right about MK Ultra, MK Naomi, and there's a lot of other projects that have only been partially declassified. And most of these projects now are done by private corporations, about 80% of it. And so the deep state, under the National Security Act of 47, that made the CIA and other intelligence agencies secret and above the law, since then, they've transferred most of the power into private corporations. And so they even have more secrecy and more plausible deniability. And all major governments have worked on this. But they really don't need that now with the internet and computers. What they've moved to is profiling. And then they've got psychological experts that can go out and interface with large groups of mentally disturbed people. And then they are called wind-ups. And then you simply tell them, hey, you're part of a secret group. You're right. You're a hero. Since you're already suicidal, you want to go out with a bang. This is going to mean you're really going to mean something. You're part of a secret government agency now, which they are. And then they profile them. They handle them. They manage them. They insert them, not because they're under mind control, but because they're under media mind control and the culture that Trump must die. He's Hitler. He's going to arrest everybody. He's going to kill everybody. Could you go back in a time machine and kill Hitler? Well, here's your chance to, get in a time machine now and stop the next Hitler. And that is what they normally do. The FBI has been caught thousands of times. They call it the FBI terror factory. You got the Governor Whitmer case where the entire leadership of the supposed Michigan militia were quasi and homeless, mentally ill potheads who'd never even been around firearms. And over a year, the FBI comes in giving them tens of thousands of dollars a month.
There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Colorado.
And then they're recording them. That's why in 2 of the trials they had to let them go. They finally had a 3rd trial, and a jury, went along with, convicting some innocent people. And they're on the tapes and the transcripts going, I just want a hamburger. I don't want to hurt anybody. They go, do the drill and talk about how you're going to go kidnap her. You don't have to. And I will give you another ounce of weed, and I will give you $200 for pizza and cheeseburgers.
Now, just to slow that down, because I didn't cover that case extensively on the show, what he's referring to is, you may have seen in the headlines, the plot to assassinate or to kidnap Governor Whitmer of Michigan, the crazy-looking, Botoxed out of her mind governor of Michigan.
There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Georgia.
So again, it's very important for my listeners. We have to be brought up to speed here on reality, because the government is growing increasingly more erratic, increasingly more sinister. And obviously now we just watched them try to assassinate President Trump while he was speaking. You need to understand these programs that Alex Jones is talking about that are being implemented, many of them, by the way, even within the classroom of the public school system. And I want to get to something that I was concerned about with this particular assassination plot. When they announced, Alex, that the lone shooter, quote unquote lone shooter, both of his parents are behavioral psychologists or behavioral counselors, behavioral therapists, I think. Instantly, because as soon as this happened, I said, I want to know what's in this kid's medicine cabinet, having been aware of all of the things that Jolly West was doing. Exactly. What
it gets worse than that. It gets worse than that. It gets worse than that. In the thing that happened in Connecticut, where the mom buys him the gun and all that, the terrible shooting that did happen in Connecticut, he was given the gun by his mother legally, and then he was on SSRIs, and he was an intern at the CIA again, Adam Lanza. It's mainstream news. Yes.
What? Adam Lanza was an intern at the CIA?
He had been approached.
Are you sure?
No, look,
I'm from Connecticut, so I had never heard this.
Yes, let me tell you. They've tried to hide it. They admit he was visited by the FBI and CIA because he was supposedly hacking into computers. He was autistic and super smart on computers. And then he was, quote, talking to them about interning. But listen, the Unabomber, CIA volunteer for MK Ultra, LA Times, Associated Press. Folks, look it up.
That is correct.
The number 2 CIA mind control doctor in congressional testimony, Jolyon West, who died, I guess, like 10 years ago, but he was Tim McVeigh's doctor while he was in Terre Haute, Indiana. But that's where he finally got executed. And then you've also, just goes
There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for District of Columbia and Maryland and Virginia.
Best friends with the Bushes, and it was in the Denver Post that 4 days before John Hinckley shot Reagan with a .22 in D.C., that they were all having a private dinner together in Colorado.
And this goes back way further in American history, and I do try to slow it down because I know that so many people are just waking up to this. And it's overwhelming. It is like an avalanche. I always say that you kind of go through this period of cognitive dissonance where you just go, how could I have believed that things were happening and it was just this exceptional evil thing that took place, and never considered that this could be being led by our government? Now, let me ask you this question. Why does the government do these sorts of things? So I learned in that Chaos book about the Charles Manson murders. I very much believe that the reason for that was they wanted to end the hippie generation because they were very anti-war and our government wanted to go to war. And so by conducting this hippie commune, conducted these terrible murders in Beverly Hills, suddenly people were buying locks and people were scared again. It wasn't like the love dream and the hippie love generation suddenly came to an abrupt end. What is their issue with Trump? Explain why they would, if we are alleging, and I actually very much believe our state was involved in this. I think you have to be a conspiracy theorist to believe that it was just a remarkable intelligence failure. I think that the crazy people are the ones that actually believe that this just happened by accident. Why would they try to assassinate Donald Trump?
Well, that really is the $64 trillion answer. And I don't know how much time we have, but I would love to tell people exactly why they want Trump dead. But if I can just briefly just say something here.
You know what? Pause before you give us your answer. I just want to cut really quickly because we're getting into this conversation deeply to one of our sponsors, the people that have stood by us as we have had these incredible conversations. So one of the things that Alex Jones believes is that we are being poisoned. The food that we are eating is not high quality food. And that, I think, is something that we all can agree with. And we have to change that around. What is this? Is it even actually meat that we're consuming? They're pushing that we shouldn't even want to eat meat. Well, I do. And that's why Good Ranchers is a sponsor on the show. You guys know I'm always speaking about Good Ranchers. I'm always showing you my savings. GoodRanchers.com. American meat delivered. All right, guys, we're back. All right, Alex, give us your answer. Why would they try to assassinate Donald Trump?
All right, and I just want to be clear. I got interested in all of this when I was a kid because my mother's brother was a Army Special Operations officer and was in the CIA, high level in Iran-Contra and other operations. And he was involved in other operations in Vietnam that he became a Christian later and repented of. And before he died 10 years ago, he basically told me a lot of this stuff. And then, of course, back in the time of HUMET, before everything was digital, the U.S. had large stand-up armies of clandestine muscle, mainly Army and Marine, supposedly retirees. But that's like a whole secret Army operation. And then I later learned that a lot of my family were actually Army officers, in place. And when you go to their funeral, and there'd be like a, special operations colonel get up and talk about, he appreciated his 27 years service after he left the Army for the Army, and everybody's like, oh yeah. And then so I grew up with these books all over the house and all this stuff going on, and people coming over to the house and closing the door, and people in briefcases coming out and stuff. So I was never brought into any of it. I just was seeing it, so I was obviously attracted to it. Does that make sense? So that's why I, just as a layperson, have been reading about this since I was like 8 years old. Okay, because these books and things were just all over the house, manuals, you name it, maps, just data everywhere, just books all over the place. And it was like that. My other family house. And so I was immersed on the edge of the permanent state, of the deep state, of the stuff that was going on. And so that's kind of seeped into me. And I understand people tune into this and they hear me rattling all this off and it sounds crazy. You can take any little piece of what we said, search it, look it up, and it's even mainstream news. So that's what's so crazy. And like most of the deep state is not just mind control and assassin teams and stuff. The deep state is 30 years ago. They have these facilities all over the country. They declassified it 10 years ago with cows that can grow up humanoid clones in them that they actually harvest organs from. Now you can type in human-animal hybrids are gestating at ranches across the U.S. And that was in MIT Quarterly and Wired magazine about 8-9 years ago. People said, Alex Jones is right. It was in the medical literature about the humanoid clones. It's something they don't parade around. So when you talk about the deep state, folks, that's the people think of the deep state as guys coming to kill you. That is seen, and their top scientist said this back in the 60s. Julian Huxley was actually the head of the UN program running this. His brother was Aldous Huxley. And Huxley wrote Brave New World Revisited and said, the future's not 1984, guns and black boots and, boot on the face. It's turning humans into cyborgs. It's genetically engineering you. It's drugging your food and water until everyone is mind controlled. And he said, so Brave New World that he wrote in 32, which now is like come true today, he said is really
there is one new special marine warning.
Now, moving away from that to your most important question, and I appreciate you letting me say that, Candace. I'm just giving folks some other big rabbit holes to go down. They'll be blown away by it and instantly see I'm telling the truth. Most people watch and go, that's not true what I just said about humanoid clones. So they're just going to pull it up. It's going to MIT magazine, and you'll be reading it. So, 35 years ago, they had goats that are part spider that create body armor in their milk for the military and their secret programs where it's like, millimeter thick and bullets just bounce off of it. It's like literally Spider-Man. So Google spider goats. So this is why they hate Trump. He's never been read in to all the secret stuff. He's not part of the scientific mad scientist cult. They want deindustrialization. They want a post-industrial world. They want to cut the resources off and use that to subjugate people with a global social credit score. Trump wants hotels and golf courses and casinos and good times, baby. And Trump is happy with how humanity operates and likes his wife and likes his kids and likes his grandkids. And is really very smart in ways, but also very old-fashioned. His family was very old-fashioned. He's just very Americana, very straightforward. And he sees all this destructiveness and is now learning about what's happening. And so now he knows a lot more. I'd say 10,000 times what he knew just 6-7 years ago. So now he gets the deep state. Now he understands how this stuff's operating. I would tell Trump 7 years ago, hey, or 6 years ago, you got to get Fiona Hill and McMaster out. They both work for Soros. Here's the evidence. And you'd see a headline 2 days later. General Kelly's main job is keeping Trump away from InfoWars. And so they went completely ape, not even so much for what I was saying on air, but what I was giving Roger Stone, and when I was talking to Trump, and I had law firms preparing briefings for him, top law firms, top ones in the country, and getting him that information because you'd say, give me a report on that.
There are 2 new warnings affecting New Jersey and Pennsylvania.
The government with billions of dollars of funding to oppose him. That's why they called him a Russian publicly, because they were using that designation as him being a foreign asset to then unleash all these clandestine operations on him and his supporters. And they did it through the Countering Foreign Disinformation Propaganda Act and a bunch of other things nested in the Defense Authorization Act that Obama signed before he left office in early January of 2017. And so they know that Trump has a whole nother plan to expand all sorts of economic operations around the world, to basically tear down totalitarian walls just through success. And so he will destroy their entire world government system. And you all know Harari came out, the spokesperson for the WEF.
Well, let me push back here. So if I'm trying to debate you on that, I would say, okay, but Alex, why not just let him be president for 4 years and then implement your World War government system, thereafter? How much, how can't you just wait 4 years before you can implement it? How much damage can Trump do if that's your ultimate goal, if you just let him be president for 4 years?
Atlantic Monthly.
Why try to kill him?
Yeah, well, because they can't, the whole world's turning against him. Xi Jinping broke with Obama 10 years ago, and he's not working with the globalists like he was. He's totalitarian and terrible, but he's his own system now. Russia is broken with the globalists.
There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Virginia.
And then implement your World War government system, thereafter. How much, how can't you just wait 4 years before you can implement it? How much damage can Trump do if that's your ultimate goal, if you just let him be president for 4 years?
Atlantic Monthly.
Why try to kill him?
Yeah, well, because they can't, the whole world's turning against him. Xi Jinping broke with Obama 10 years ago, and he's not working with the globalists like he was. He's totalitarian and terrible, but he's his own system now. Russia is broken.
There are two new warnings affecting Pennsylvania and Virginia. Attention! One of your tracked locations appears to be affected by these new warnings. New severe thunderstorm warning issued for Pennsylvania. This warning is potentially affecting the following tracked locations. Schuylkill, which is near the warned area. Here is the summary of this warning. At 6:09 p.m. EDT, a severe thunderstorm was located over Snyders, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. End of warning summary. There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Virginia.
The whole world's turning against him. Xi Jinping broke with Obama 10 years ago, and he's not working with the globalists like he was. He's totalitarian and terrible, but he's his own system now. Russia is broken with the globalists. The EU is falling apart. There's a global political awakening and realignment, and they say...
And that's why they want war. That's why they want war.
They need war to prop up their Anglo-American establishment. And for new viewers, I'm not bashing white people. When Putin calls the West the Anglo-Americans, that's the ancient name of the group that's passed on power from William the Conqueror on through the British Empire merging with the U.S. Empire. Winston Churchill called it the Anglo-American Empire in his 3-volume set, History of the English-Speaking People. So Putin addresses them in the ancient tongue. Because, I mean, at the real political level, it's like Dune, the houses. They talk about all the old scores, and that's why Putin with Tucker spoke like an hour about the history of Russia and stuff, because that's what really matters to those people, and they understand how long these wars with the Anglo-Americans have been going. So the Anglo-American Empire is falling apart, and Macron has said it. The Financial Times has said it. Atlantic Monthly said it. Yuval Harari said it Sunday. He said, and I played the clip on my show yesterday, he said, if we don't take out Trump, and if he becomes the president, the new world order system is going to collapse, and our world government is going to fail. Okay.
So basically, and I actually think I can see your perspective on this. It does feel like they're growing increasingly erratic, and you do see and you feel this awakening happen. Like these topics that you and I are talking about right now, you could not speak about this 6 years ago without just being completely canceled and called a crazy person. And now people are seeing how sinister the government is. And so there does seem to be this desperation, and they realize they don't really have 4 years before the whole world is awakened to what they're doing, and they're desperate. I mean, these people are psychopaths. They will do anything to hold on to power, and that's why I've been saying to my audience, I've been saying this for years, they want war with Russia and Iran. They want war. They're going to figure out how to get to war with Russia and Iran, and the next thing you know, you got the Ukraine thing happening. You've got the Iran yesterday. Oh, they were going to try to sell to us a CNN headline that, oh, the assassination, they figured out that Iran was going to try to assassinate Trump. I'm like, this is a nonsense. This is the deep state. They want war because wars allow them to reset, right? You plunder, it's a good old-fashioned reset. You plunder, you take, you get to do whatever you want, you decide who the boss is. That's what happens after wars. And I showed, and got in a lot of trouble for this in the mainstream media, I showed the American audiences what we did to the German-speaking civilians post-World War II. Like
There are 2 new warnings affecting Arizona and Maryland and Virginia. There is 1 new severe thunderstorm warning for Texas. There is 1 new severe thunderstorm warning for Colorado.
Right.
But it is true that that Eisenhower and the Allies, because Europe was destroyed and there wasn't a lot of food, people were dying of disease everywhere. He did just pen up men, women, and children in large open air. He put them actually in the work camps and starved about 2 million Germans to death. And that's come out in BBC reports. You've covered it. And all you're saying is America did that to the Native Americans. So Hitler's bad for us to then say, but we've done bad stuff too, and we're capable of evil. That's not endorsing Hitler.
Right. Well, they know it's not endorsing him, but they pretend it is because, again, that's a part of the process of the awakening, right?
That's the lie.
So people were shocked when I showed them that old BBC documentary, you know, Stalin. People don't even know about the Bolshevik Revolution. I mean, we are so polluted. We are so propagandized in the classroom, and we have no concept of history. This was why they did not want that Tucker and Putin interview to take place, because Americans have we're basically like goldfish. We don't have a memory of anything, and they want to keep us like that. They want to keep us fat and dumb and polluted with drugs so they can tell us what the narrative is. This is why they don't want kids being able to read, because then they will tell us what history is. And in each scenario, we defeated the bad guys. We never were the bad guys. I mean, it's basically a fairy tale. And so all it takes is the injection of 1 drop of truth, right? And for me, it was that BBC documentary, and I went, what the heck is going on? How did I not know about this? How did I not know that we had done this? And then you start realizing you've never really known your country and who has been running this country. And I've been showing to my audience, they are literal Satanists. Like, we're not saying this in the ha-ha, you're devilish. I mean, literally, these programs, a lot of these, like I did an episode on NASA, like satanic origins, like literally every time they were establishing the JPL. Yes, Jack Parsons was a literal Aleister Crowley thelemic Satanist. Said that he met the devil, like he had done some chant, they were having sexual rituals. And when you were speaking about this stuff a long time ago, It sounded crazy, Alex, I'm not gonna lie. And now I show people, this is on Wikipedia. This is not on some deep Reddit feed. You can go read about how they established the jet propulsion program via Jack Parsons and what faith he believed in. He believed in Satan. He worshiped the devil. He was having sexual rituals, trying to impregnate a woman via sexual ritual black magic to create a moonchild. Even saying it sounds crazy, but it's just available on Wikipedia. That's a scary reckoning for those
vaccines. Now, the president has received probably at least 5 doses of vaccine, as a lot of us have, and has also had the virus once, and that has really, all of those elements serve to increase his immunity. Plus, we also have Paxlovid now, and we've already heard that he's going to take a dose of that.
Dr. Reiner, we're seeing live pictures of the president boarding Air Force One right now, and what jumped out at me, and I'm sure to others as well, I didn't see him wearing a mask as he was with those other people on the tarmac there. What does that say to you?
As the command base, you don't have the police in the command center, which the shooter shot from the roof of. You have them on top of the damn roof. At any presidential event I've ever been to, they're all over the roofs. And when the president's speaking, I've seen him with Stinger missiles on top of the White House, and I've seen him with Stinger missiles in Dallas when I saw Reagan speak in the mid-1980s. So here's the bottom line. We know they did it. They're behind it. They said they wanted to kill him. It's all out there on record. The intelligence agencies have 6 ways for Sunday to get even with you. As Schumer said, we need to get those videos up on X. I'm going to post them in the next hour to Real Alex Jones. I hope you guys share them. And I've got all these CIA guys saying we're going to kill Trump. The CIA is going to kill Trump. And, of course, they run the CIA and the Justice Department, so nobody's going to go grab them and take them in for very serious interrogation, because this is the time for serious interrogation. But they control the high ground. They control the government. They control the agencies, so that's why they have this incredible arrogance. And Trump has gotten a lot of this knowledge now. He's not as naive as he used to be, and I know he's got people around him now that actually know what's going on. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay, let's just say some of my acolytes, people that have been listening to me for decades, are now very close to Trump. And I've been meeting with some of these folks. When I say very close, I mean, if something happens to Trump, this person's the president, that close. And they told me, no, we know, decades listening, we understand you got the blueprint. We want to work with you. We want to understand the battle plan, how to defeat them. Well, that's happening. But there's not even a need for me to even talk to them on the phone. They're watching. The chiefs of staff are watching. They all get it now. They're like, whoa, this guy isn't crazy. No, folks, I'm not crazy. Okay, I have so much knowledge, it makes my head burn, because I can sit here for 10 hours and give you evidence, and you could go look it up. It's all open, okay? Like I tell you, there's animal-human clones all over the place. It's declassified. It's public. But it's kept in these industrial reservations, walled off. But the fact of its existence is there. And that's what I'm saying, is the deep state is so much deeper. So they have to kill Trump now. They have nothing to lose. Their backs are against the wall. Trump is riding a wave of a global political realignment. They're going to try to blow up his airplane. They're going to try to poison him. They're going to try to roll a truck bomb into Mar-a-Lago. So there better be barriers a mile away. And they are going to even set off a low yield 1 megaton, 2 megaton atomic bomb. They might use a neutron bomb, which again, they could detonate a small neutron bomb at 1,000 feet above Mar-a-Lago, and it would kill everyone in a half-mile range, even if they're in a bunker, and it would not damage any of the infrastructure. It just sends a high-powered wave of radiation through you, and depending on how close you are, you die within minutes to hours, so just to be microwave. And so I know the enemy. I guarantee you they're already following Trump around with a neutron bomb or a tactical nuke if they think that he's about to figure something out or make a move against them. They're only gauging right now, can they make a deal with him and then double cross him? Can they back off and then try to infiltrate once he's in, or during the 79 days when he's president-elect is when they're going to try to poison him. So poisoning is number one.
Yeah, it does seem like they're getting sloppy, and what happened, obviously, by the grace of God, Trump survived this, and now everyone's paying attention, everybody's watching, and that's not good for them. I do want to ask you this question. What would have happened if they had successfully assassinated Trump on that stage? Before you answer that, I do want to cut to a brief message from our sponsors. Let's run the dark scenario here. Trump got assassinated on that stage. What would have happened thereafter?
Well, I've run these scenarios, and just briefly, back to what I was saying. Why would the Russians want all these nukes to defeat and take over America? Why would America want that for defense or to take over a country? They can take over America and keep their coup and their power if they kill Trump. So I'm saying they will do anything and then say the Iranians did it. And I said that Saturday. I said they'll roll a truck bomb into Mar-a-Lago, or they'll Stinger missile Trump's plane and then claim that Iran got it. And they're going to start saying Iran's going to kill Trump. The next day, they came out and said Iran's going to kill Trump. Because it's simple deduction. They want to hit Iran next. And so you just come out and say Iran has killed Trump. And then everybody gets patriotic and we go blow up Iran. That's why I had to get ahead of it.
They're running 9/11 again. They're running the 9/11 strategy again. But American people are too awake to that. No one bit on the Iran bullet, so to speak.
Yes.
So
let me tell you,
that's not going to work.
Absolutely. So I just do deduction on all the different scenarios and the combinations of scenarios. So here's the answer to your dark scenario. If by the grace of God, he survived, but if he'd have been killed, and I've wargamed this on my show, so I'm not giving you this my opinion now.
There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Georgia.
Wargaming the different scenarios. If they killed Trump at that event, they were then planning to truck bomb the White House and say that Iran did it, or that a Trump supporter did it, or a group affiliated with Russia did it, or they might even do a tactical nuke on the White House, and the hysteria cut the internet off, and then you're hearing announcement, Iran's hit us, and then Israel and the United States hit Iran with nuclear weapons. Then the globalists would set off a few more tactical nukes, and then they've already brought in hundreds of thousands of Hamas and Hezbollah operatives into the United States. They would be activated. Yeah. They would be activated by Iran, so that wouldn't be a false flag. They would then go on top high rises and dump mixtures that would create chlorine gas into the buildings. They would then sabotage and blow up dams. They would then attack the major capitals and government buildings and military bases. And so the United States would have been on fire right now. Tactical nukes would have already gone off.
I want to just interject there, because I have been covering. Obviously, the CIA is allowing our borders to be porous, and it's been interesting to see which countries these people are coming from. It's not Mexico anymore. It's Kazakhstan. China. There's been Chinese men coming over the border. They're aware that this is happening. And I feel very much that they want an attack to happen on American soil. So in my viewpoint...
There is one new severe thunderstorm warning for Nebraska.
into the buildings. They would then sabotage and blow up dams. They would then attack the major capitals and government buildings and military bases.